Alright everyone, buckle up because what I'm about to share with you is going to change how you think about this upcoming winter season. We are looking at something truly spectacular unfolding across the United States. And I need you to stay with me because the details I'm about to break down are absolutely critical for understanding what's coming our way. Let me start by painting the big picture here. This winter is shaping up to be one for the record books, and I'm not just throwing that phrase around lightly. We're talking about a winter pattern that's going to remind a lot of us about that legendary season back in 2013. The one that had entire regions buried under relentless waves of snow and ice. Now, I want to be clear with you, we're not expecting an exact replica of that historic winter. But we are seeing signals that suggest we're going to experience something that runs above normal in terms of snowfall. And in some areas, significantly above normal. Here's what's happening right now. And this is where things get really interesting. Within the next 7 days, we're going to see a dramatic shift in the atmospheric pattern. The jet stream is going to buckle and plunge southward, and when that happens, Arctic air is going to come rushing down from Canada like a freight train. The Midwest and Great Lakes region are going to be the first to feel this transformation. We're talking about temperatures that are going to drop 20, 30, even 40 degrees below what we've been experiencing. This isn't just a cold snap that lasts a day or two. This is the beginning of a sustained winter pattern that's going to establish itself and stick around, by the way. If you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you liked the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. Now let me walk you through what late November is going to look like, because this is where our winter story truly begins. As we approach Thanksgiving week, that Arctic outbreak I mentioned is going to bring the first significant snowfall of the season to a massive portion of the country. The northern plains are going to see this first. We're talking about cities like Fargo, North Dakota, and Minneapolis. Minnesota getting hammered with 6 to 12 inches of snow in some of these initial systems. Bismarck could see 8 to 14 inches as these early season storms develop and intensify. But here's the thing that makes this different from a typical late November pattern. This snow is going to stick around. The temperatures are going to be cold enough that we're not going to see the melting and thawing cycles that usually eat away at early season. Snowed BACK. As we push deeper into late November and transition into December. The snow machine is going to shift into high gear. The Great Lakes region is going to become absolutely buried under lake effect. Snow bands that are going to be relentless. I'm talking about Buffalo, New York, potentially seeing 40 to 60 inches by the time we get to Christmas. Erie, Pennsylvania could rack up 35 to 50 inches during this same time frame. Cleveland and the eastern suburbs are looking at 25 to 40 inches. These aren't just numbers I'm pulling out of thin air. These are realistic projections based on the atmospheric setup. We're monitoring December as when things are going to get really wild across the northern tier of the United States. Chicago is going to see storm after storm rolling through, and I'm forecasting that the Windy City could accumulate 30 to 45 inches through the month of December alone. Detroit is looking at similar numbers. It's possibly 35 to 50 inches as we get repeated clipper systems and occasional heavier storms diving down from Canada. Milwaukee could see 28 to 40 inches. And Green Bay might end up with 32 to 48 inches as they get hammered by both clipper systems and lake enhancement. Now let's talk about the Northeast. Because this region is going to experience a winter that people are going to be talking about for years. Boston is positioned perfectly for this winter pattern. I'm projecting that Beantown could see 50 to 70 inches of total snowfall by the time we reach the end of February. New York City, which sometimes gets spared by these big winter patterns, is not going to escape this time. I'm looking at 30 to 45 inches for the 5 boroughs with higher amounts north and west of the city. Philadelphia could rack up 25 to 40 inches while Hartford, Connecticut might see 45 to 65 inches. The Mid-Atlantic is going to get in on this action too, though the amounts are going to be more variable depending on exact storm tracks. Washington, D.C. is looking at 20 to 35 inches for the season. It's Baltimore potentially seeing 25 to 40 inches. These amounts might not sound earth-shattering compared to what the Great Lakes and New England are going to experience. For these cities, this represents a significant uptick from recent winters. January is when this winter pattern is going to reach its absolute peak intensity. This is the month where we're going to see the coldest air of the season plunging southward. It's going to bring snow to areas that don't always see significant accumulations. The Ohio Valley is going to be a battleground for winter weather. Cincinnati could see 20 to 35 inches through January and into February. Columbus, Ohio is looking at 25 to 40 inches. Indianapolis might accumulate 22 to 38 inches. Pittsburgh, with its elevation and proximity to lake effect, could see 40 to 60 inches by late winter. The northern Rockies and Intermountain West are going to be absolutely buried this winter. Boise, Idaho could see 35 to 50 inches of snow through the winter months. Salt Lake City is looking at 50 to 70 inches. The ski resorts on the Wasatch Range are going to be absolutely ecstatic with what's coming. Denver is positioned for a very active pattern. I'm projecting that the Mile High City could see 45 to 65 inches by late February. Cheyenne? Wyoming might rack up 50 to 75 inches as storm after storm impacts the region. Even areas that typically see moderate winter weather are going to experience above normal snowfall. Kansas City is looking at 15 to 25 inches, which is well above their normal. St. Louis could see 18 to 30 inches. Omaha, Nebraska might accumulate 25 to 40 inches. These are significant amounts for cities that sometimes go through entire winters with less than 10 inches of total snowfall. February is going to maintain this aggressive winter pattern. And here's what makes this particularly noteworthy. Often by February, we start to see the pattern break down, we get more frequent thaws, and winter starts to loosen its grip. That's not what's going to happen this year. February is going to feature multiple significant storm systems that are going to continue to bury the northern United States under heavy snow. We might even see some of these systems bring significant snow to areas as far south as Tennessee and northern Arkansas. Let me draw some comparisons to that. Legendary winter of 2013. Because I know many of you remember that season vividly. That winter featured a relentless pattern where the polar vortex became extremely unstable and Arctic air just kept flooding southward week after week. We're seeing similar signals in the long-range pattern, though with some key differences. This winter, the cold isn't going to be quite as extreme in terms of record-breaking low temperatures across the deep south, but the snow is going to be more persistent and widespread across the northern tier. Where 2013 gave us those shocking cold snaps that reached all the way to Florida, this winter is going to focus more of its energy on producing heavy snow from the Rockies through the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. The pattern we're seeing has similarities to 2013 in terms of the atmospheric blocking that's going to set. Up over Greenland and the North Atlantic, this blocking is crucial because it prevents storm systems from escaping out to sea quickly. Instead, they're forced to track through the interior of the country, bringing heavy snow to a wide swath of states. In 2013, cities like Chicago saw over 60 inches of snow for the season. This year, I think Chicago could approach or potentially exceed that mark if everything comes together as the models are suggesting. For those of you who love winter weather, this is going to be an incredible season to watch unfold. For those who aren't fans of snow and cold, well, you're going to need patience because this pattern is going to be with us for quite a while. The key message I want to leave you with is this. Winter is arriving within days. It's going to bring above normal snowfall to much of the northern United States. And it's going to maintain that active pattern from late November straight through. It's February and possibly into March. This is a winter that's going to draw comparisons to legendary seasons like 2013, and it's one that people are going to remember for years to come. Stay tuned to this channel because I'm going to be tracking every storm, every Arctic outbreak, and every significant snow event as this remarkable winter season unfolds. All right. If you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, leave your region or city in the comments. I'll answer them individually as I have time. Commenting is completely free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.